A vulnerable patient who died after being restrained by police officers has been declared the victim of unlawful killing. An inquest jury concluded that the death of 24-year-old Brian Ringrose was the result of the unlawful act of manslaughter. PC Martyn Jones has been sacked for gross misconduct but never prosecuted. The jury also found neglect by hospital staff contributing to his death. The victim's mother says that her son was treated like a rag doll. Here's Simon Israel with an exclusive report and a warning: it does contain a video from the very start which viewers may find distressing.
As the hospital curtain was pulled back,
Brian, just relax yourself, buddy, all right?
Brian Ringrose was struggling to stay alive from an overdose. From that point, he was no longer under medical care, but in the hands of two Thames Valley police officers. Footage obtained by Channel 4 News shows how one unofficial and inappropriate method of police restraint was to become a critical factor. Brian was Mary's only child.
You shouldn't have been treated that way. Treat him like a rag doll.
The inquest jury was shown Mr. Ringrose's handcuffed arms forced up behind his back towards his head, ripping the ligaments in one shoulder and severely bruising the other. It was a pain compliance technique only used in police cells, not in the middle of a hospital accident department and not in any training manual.
Oh dear, next one.
At 24 years old, Brian Ringrose was the father of 3 children, with another on the way. He'd been in and out of hospital with mental health issues since a car accident when a teenager. In January 2021, he overdosed on prescribed drugs, was arrested and brought into the Milton Keynes University Hospital by 2 police officers. CCTV records PC Martyn Jones at his head and PC Daniel Simpson applying leg restraints with the 24-year-old pinned face down for an initial 6.5 minutes. In that time, Brian was pulled across the floor by his handcuffs, with his arms forced up behind his back while he struggled to breathe. He was to die a few days later. The coroner had mapped out a route for the jury to come to its conclusions. 16 questions in all, to be answered on the balance of probabilities. Their focus was on the actions of PC Martyn Jones and the inactions of hospital staff. But what the jury weren't told was that the officer had been sacked last year for gross misconduct for using excessive force on Brian Ringrose. This CCTV and body-worn footage provided inescapable evidence to the inquest jury. At one point, one of the nurses compared Mr. Ringrose's treatment to that of a young child.
That's what you do with a 3-year-old toddler, isn't it? Yeah.
Today, the inquest jury concluded that what took place in this casualty unit in February 2021 amounted to unlawful killing. It found his death was a result of unlawful act manslaughter on the part of a police officer, contributed to by neglect on the part of the restraining officers and the 2 officers initially attending in the van and the healthcare staff.
They're there to protect and serve, not kill.
4 of the 5 police officers in this CCTV frame played some role in Brian's death as he lay face down with arms pulled back well over 90 degrees. Yet only one was sacked and another disciplined. Thames Valley Police told Channel 4 News, "It is clear that how our officers dealt with Mr. Ringrose was not acceptable and did not follow approved training. The care and monitoring of Mr. Ringrose during the prolonged restraint was wholly inadequate." The hospital said how deeply sorry it was for Brian's death. It said it had carried out an internal investigation last year, but refused to reveal if any staff had been disciplined. Do you come away with the feeling that the hospital regarded Brian Ringrose as a nuisance?
One of the most shocking aspects of what happened was how casually and how carelessly Brian's life was lost, how people didn't intervene, how trained doctors and nurses and healthcare staff were standing around watching him die in front of them and didn't intervene. And they need to ask themselves why that was.
The outcome of this inquest will likely trigger a review by the Independent Office for Police Complaints. It may be the prosecuting authorities are asked to take another look at the case. The very least the family want is a direct apology to Brian's children.